Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Brian Nato with you on a beautiful day here in Hollandale Beach, South Florida. We've got a fast main track. We've got the Tapeta. We've got 11 races. You can see the track there. It's sealed right now, but we'll open it up for that first dirt race in race 2. The weather's supposed to be beautiful. We opened early today in Silks. Happy Travers Day as well. A lot of people in there already. I'll hit on the contest too. Don't forget, if you're here already or you're going to be getting here in a little bit, XP Rewards contest, that's 6 picks contest. You've got until 4:40 to sign up, so get on over there in Silks and do that. We've also got the Rainbow Six inching up there, $150,000. It kicks off in race number 6. Ashley Mayu will join me in a little bit. She's subbing for Ronnie, and she's got the ticket today. Tough sequence, good sequence. We've got some 2-year-old races. We've got a half to Latruska running today for Fausto Gutierrez, as Latruska is up at Saratoga. We'll hit on that too, so there's a lot to look forward to. We always look forward to the early pick 5 as well. About, what do we got, 52 minutes to post here. Take a look at my ticket on what was, I was comfortable with this sequence, to be honest with you. I was a little more condensed yesterday. I found it difficult. Today, I'm a lot more comfortable with it. A 4x4 early double. We'll get into the opener in a second. I've got number 7, Kenya Sun, on top in race 2. Back-to-back singles. Here's Hurry Up Deer in race 3. I mentioned that half to Latruska, Prudencio for Fausto Gutierrez and St. George Stables. That's a single in race 4. To me, that's also my best bet on the card. I think 5-2 on the morning line. And in race 7, to wrap up that sequence, we go 97. Cole Star for Safi on the rise off a really, really big figure last time, getting back to the main track. I'll come right back to him. Congrats again. Yikes, 1 for 25. But I also think he's just been coming out of much, much better races. So we'll go with that one as well. $16 on that 50-cent ticket. So let's get into the opener. I'll mention Joseph Trijos rides the 1, taking over there. Decided long shot. Look at this board early in the betting. We're going to scratch out number 11, and it's key to note that means number 13 is going to get in. JT's my boy, will run. It's early, very early in the betting. We've got 5-1 favorites right now. 3 of them, actually. I didn't go there. I went to the outside a little bit with number 12, without 1 stall in from the outside. That's Voice of Now, Mary Epler. Struggled to get to the winner's circle, but her horses are running. I mean, the barn, I get it, 0 for 24, but we've got 10 underneath finishes. So it's not like, we're 0 for 24 with a third. No, the horses are running. So I think this one now, and we got to mention Miguel Vasquez, too. He lands here. He rode this horse 2 back. You look at the races that this 3-year-old gelded son of Neolithic comes out of. I think they've been pretty good efforts. Voice of Now. We've got tactical speed to work with from the outside. We don't have to worry about dropping too far out of it. I think he's in a good spot here. Number 10, Nippon. He's 8-1. I'm still trying to get to one of these co-favored 5s in there. But, small body of work, but Nippon ran pretty well on debut, sprinting 5.5, so we're going to stretch out essentially to 8.5 furlongs here, 1.70 miles. We've got that to deal with. By Caraconti out of an Irish-bred mare, so you would certainly think at least the bottom of this pedigree. I know Caraconti was a crack miler, a Breeders' Cup mile winner, but it's in this pedigree. Edgar Perez lands here. He wrote, I don't like to play musical chairs with the jockeys, but he did ride Voice of Now last time, so food for thought there. He's going to ride Nippon here today. Joe Orsino, you put him together with Joe. They are 33% together with 40 mounts with a big ROI, so they've really struck up a good partnership together, and we know how good Edgar Perez is, so we'll put that one in second. Number 7, here's one of the 5-1s. First Team. Here's the thing. If you're a fan and you believe in the figures, you're going to land on this horse. You're going to like this horse. But you know what? These Tapeta figures, they can be a little tricky. He ran a huge buyer, at least for this field, with that 59 last time. He does drop in class a little bit. The problem is, now, it was his first 2-turn race. The problem is it was so far above and beyond anything he's done, at least on paper, on figures. You wonder if maybe he comes back to him. But if you're a believer, again, you want to give him $12 on that horse. That's not a bad number either. I also use number 9, Eden Paradise, second-time starter. He's got a lot of upside. Ran okay on the dirt. Ran a closing 6 furlongs, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. We're going to stretch out. We're going to try the Tapeta. He'll be a nice price. Ian El Beato won a race yesterday as well. So there's your opener. Tough puzzle, as you can see by the board. It is early, but shaping up to be a wide open race. The early pick 4 kicks off in race 2. We get to that fast main track for the first time on our 11 race card. 3-year-old fillies are 4 and up, which have never won 3. Tag 6,250. That was another tough race. I went 4 deep in this race as well. So if you're starting this pick 4, I mean, I went with Kenya Sun, 7-2 on the morning line. I'm going to talk about Raspberry Ballet in a second. But, you know, Kenya Sun, I like getting away from the rail. Miguel Vasquez is here. He rode last time, got blitzed by Queen Domina. But, you know, Queen Domina ran so big last time. So I think that's a big positive there to come out of that race. A very, very fast race for the level. You see the 3rd place horse comes back to win. So I think she's coming out of the right race. So now let's get to Raspberry Beret. And if you've watched, you know, me in this space and in the afternoon, I poo-poo her. Let's just be honest. She was 1 for 31 last time, 5 seconds and 10/3. Well, she did finally break through. I'll give her credit for that. She broke through at 3-5 in a race she kind of sort of had to win. And she did. I'll give her credit. She wasn't impressive visually. She didn't blow up the stopwatch either. But for a horse that was 1 for 31 that finally got a W, you know, you got to respect her right back. You don't have to take her at 7-5. I will say that, but you've got to respect her right back. I'm not going to let her beat me, but she's not the type of horse I want to pick on top either. Number 1, Takes 2 to Wiggle down inside. You know, when you're talking about these 3 L's, it is what it is. 2 for 39. 9 underneath finishes. So, you know, you kind of get what you're seeing here. There's a lot of twofers with a lot of losses. We've got to, you know, you've got to decipher, do you want to take these kind of horses at underlaid price? Takes 2 to Wiggle does come out of a good effort. 2nd last time, you know, at this level, going 6. She's going to stretch out now a little bit. It doesn't look like that's going to hurt her. The blinkers are going to come off a little bit. Maybe she got a little too close last time. Maybe that helps her settle in here too. She can save some ground down inside. I also used the 4, Thrilling Baby. She is at 9-2 on the morning line, and she won last time, and she beat 2L. So she rises in class like Raspberry Ballet. But you know what? She comes in off a win. I don't think that's understated in a spot like this. So those were the spreads in the early pick 5. Now we get to a couple back-to-back singles. For me, in race 3, we go 1.70 on the Tapeta here, $16,000 maiden claimers, fillies and mares 3 and up. And I basically took a stand with Hurry Up Dear, the 5. I get it. You know, she's tough to trust. I understand it. She's 6-5. These are a lot of times horses you're supposed to try to beat. You might want to try to beat. With that being said, I just didn't see a lot in here. There's nothing in here that really scares me. That really has a lot of upside. I thought there were a lot of horses you could just completely eliminate right off the rip in here. And Hurry Up Dear, I think she probably, in hindsight, last time, she really regressed figure-wise, and she probably paid the price for running in 2 pretty fast races where she was 3rd, 3 back on the turf, 2 back last time on the Tapeta. So she was 2nd last time. The winner was okay that day. We'll give her credit. I think she probably paid the price for races that are probably, honestly, probably going to win this race and going to win it comfortably. I think she can get back to it. She's only run 8 times. She's hit the board in 4 of them. I just thought she was the right horse in here. Down inside, the 1, Super Duper Ready, 7-5 on the morning line. She's going to go off the claim for Diane Marisi. And listen, Diane does a good job, but, you know, we've got to mention it. 0 for 22 off the claim. It is what it is. This is a solid barn off the claim, not necessarily the angle. Now, she doesn't have to get a lot of improvement out of this daughter of More Than Ready. And we got to mention, rest in peace, More Than Ready. Just passed away yesterday, I believe, the age of 25. The most all-time Breeders' Cup wins as a sire. That really surprised me. We know how good he's been as a sire, but when I read that in print, that really, really surprised me. So rest in peace on a horse that had not only a tremendous career on the racetrack. He was the best 2-year-old I ever saw win the Sanford up close and personal at Saratoga, but he's been a heck of a sire as well, so he'll be sorely missed. Super Duper Ready. If he can get back to that race, 2 back, when he ran for a quarter and he was 3rd, beaten 4 lengths, that's a race that'll put a big, big scare into Hurry Up Dear. We'll see what we get today off the claim, let's just be honest, a disappointing effort at 6-5 last time. Number 7, Pretty Devil in the mix too. We'll draw a line through the dirt race last time. Let's focus on the Tapeta efforts, 2, 3, and 4 back. Solid enough to give them a chance in here if the favorites come back. On to race 4. Got a couple of good 2-year-old races today. This is the first one of them, maiden special weight for the 2-year-olds. This one we sprint 6. The other one in race 7, we stretch them out to a mile. This is my best bet of the day. And I mentioned Latruska's running up at Saratoga, and I also mentioned her little half-brother is running here at Gulfstream Park, and that's the one, Prudencio. And I thought he was pretty good on debut. This is a son of Arrogate, so, 5.5 furlongs, probably not ideal for him on debut, but he gets to stretch out a little bit today. Listen, it's Fausto Gutierrez, and we've talked about this time and time again. His 2-year-old second-time starters are just improving in leaps and bounds. So I would think we're going to get that from Prudencio today. And the other thing is, you look through this field, at least the horses we've seen in the afternoon, I haven't seen that much from him. So he was behind XY Point. He ran off the screen on debut for Saffie Joseph that time. I like that race. Listen, the rail could be a little tricky, but to me, he's a strong, strong favorite. He's something to 5 in here. I think he's a right lean, a right single if you're playing this early pick 5, early pick 4. Caddyman didn't do a lot of running on debut. Behind XY Point, behind Prudencio. He's beaten over 15. That means he's got to make up about 7 lengths on Prudencio. Can he do it? No, I don't know. But Eddie Plesa Jr. is not really a guy that's going to fire at first asking. He can do it. But you see the stat here. He is 30% second out maidens. So you expect to get a lot better today from Caddy Man. Main man Kevin Krieger's in here as well. Kevin and Eddie Plesa Jr., 31%, a relatively small sample. They've done some good work. This horse did have a little trip. He steadied after the start, kind of losing all chance. Didn't do any running either. We'll see what we get today. I would think we get improvement today. The horse I didn't really know what to make of was the 8. Eyes on the King, the firster for Mark Casse. So right away, we've got to take notice, right? Because we know Mark's going to run live 2-year-olds here, and they're ready to run on debut. He's already run a couple of them. Bapio comes to mind, especially, and he had the hot steam horse a couple weeks ago that won. Tab the Tote here, okay? This is a son of Street Sense that they paid $485 for at auction. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal because there's absolutely no pedigree whatsoever with this horse. The dam was 0 for 4, third full. Only one of them's run. He was 1 for 11. So we'll see what we get today with Eyes on King. At least Evan Gonzalez is here, kind of the main guy for the barn, 23%. We'll see what we get. They paid a big number. I would think this horse is a looker today. The works are okay. They don't jump off the page. A couple of them are pretty solid, though. That July 30th work. This horse is supposed to be live and taking money. We'll see what happens if he is or not. One more before the break and before the rainbow to close out this early pick 5. It is race 5. We go a mile on the main track here. 3-year-olds are 4 and up, which have never won 2. Our tag 62.50. And, Cool Star's going to rise in class. I get it, but he just looks better than these. I don't know if you want to believe the big figure last time. And, yes, he was all out to win by a head. But you look at the race. You look how fast it was. It was also his first start with blinkers on the main track. It was also his first start with Lasix on the main track. So if you want to be a little stubborn and just say, you know what, that's the one race I'm going to look at because that's exactly what we're getting today, Lasix and blinkers on the main track. Well, that race is just a lot faster than anybody else has done in here, especially of late. Saffie, Edgar Zayas, it's, a potent combo. They're a threat right back of Peter Vedsko. Homebred, they won that race yesterday with the first-time starter. We'll talk about that in the lightning round. Congrats again. Yikes, 1 for 25, 9 underneath finishes, but look at their 12-5 races he's been coming out of and the horses he's been feet. Democracy was so good in the last 2 races. He wasn't good last time off the claim, but for Antonio Sano in those 2 spots, he was really good. Brother Brad, rushing to win. Those are horses that are better than these horses that are live horses. He's coming out of the right races. I don't like the 1 for 25, but at this level today, I think he's a main player, so I used them both in the late pick 5. From there, anybody's guess underneath, 61 for me, and also double blessing. I have Meccano. He was coming back on short rest for Bobby DeBona. He scratched out, so I think that took a little starch out of this race as well. So we'll see. I think Cool Star, though, is the right one. You get a little backup with. Congrats again. So take a break here on Gulfstream today. When we come back, Ashley will join us, and when we come back, it's Rainbow Six time as well. Take a break.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
Brian Nadeau back here with you. We've got another weekend, just 2 left of the 6 Picks XB Rewards contest. We hope to see you out here Saturday at Gulfstream Park, a $2,500 free contest for XB Rewards members. You got to get over to Silks by 4:40 Saturday afternoon to sign up. It's free. You're looking to pick the last 3 winners here at Gulfstream Park, the last 3 winners over at Saratoga as well, the big Travers Day card, which obviously you can wager on here at Silks at Gulfstream Park. $2,500 at stake. People have been splitting this contest. $1,250 two people walked away with. It goes right into your account. So get involved. There's only 2 weeks left. And then you want to get involved too, because the last week, the top 50 are going to play for $5,000. So that's the 6 Picks XB Rewards contest. Get over to Silks by 4:40 Saturday afternoon. So now let's talk some horses. We've got the last 3 races at Gulfstream. We've got the last 3 races at Saratoga. Starting at Gulfstream, I'll go with the chalk in race 9. Poema got really good 2 back and just absolutely blitzed the field. Was a favorite last time behind Last Leaf in the stakes. Didn't work out with her. The drop in class, a nice outside attack post. I don't see her having really any issues with this type of field. In race number 10, here's my price today. It's my long shot on the card, actually. Number 4, Night Jumper. Back in with Kent Sweezy, who immediately runs this one long on the Tapeta. Been working bullets up at Palmettos. I also like Kent going out and getting Edgar Zayas. I think that's very, very significant. 8-1 in the morning line. You get this one home, that could really blow up the contest in your favor, obviously. In race 11, Amazing Trip, 7-2 on the morning line, plunging in class, probably going to be a very, very heavy favorite. She's kept her speed. I like that. The outside post works too. Maybe this level just gets her back on the beam for Saffie Joseph Jr. and Edgar Zayas. Now we go over to Saratoga. Again, the last 3 races. We kick it off with a bang. It's the Travers. In race 11, everybody's going to go Epicenter. I understand it. Listen, he's the horse to beat, the most likely winner. I'm going to come back to early voting, though. I just think it's interesting that Chad Brown runs this horse right back after a pretty dismal effort, to be honest with you, behind Epicenter in the Jim Dandy. But I like the fact he's in here. He's controlling speed, and as we saw in the Preakness, when he gets on the lead, sometimes he likes to get brave. Maybe that's what happens in here. He's going to be a price. Empire Sky, number 4 in race 12. An open company horse coming in against New York breds in a maiden special weight. Kathleen DeMasi, 21% in turf sprints. And let's wind it down at Saratoga. My best bet of the day, number 6, Salima in the nightcap. Very slow on paper. Go back and watch the Tampa debut for Chad Brown. I've been waiting for her to come back. Absolutely awesome. That'll wrap it up. So again, the $2,500 XB Rewards 6 Picks contest. Hope to see you out here. Got to sign up by Silks at 4:40. Can't shake me here. I'm all over the place, I guess. But, you know, we've got that 6 Picks contest going today, and you've got until 4:40 to sign up. So make sure you get over to Silks and do that. If you're here firing at Saratoga early, and obviously we're kicking it off here in 34 minutes, just get over there to Silks. It's free. All you got to do is be an XB Rewards member. You're playing for $2,500. 2 people split it for $1,250 last week. It goes right into your account. What more can you ask for? Free money at the track. I bring in Ashley with me here, and we'll go right into the Rainbow Six, and you're deputizing for Ronnie. I wonder what time. I didn't see Ronnie flooding the gates there at Saratoga at like 6 a.m. this morning, but we'll see if he's up there. Best of luck if you're playing the Travers. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. What'd you come up with in this Rainbow? 150 gross jackpot guarantee, by the way.
Yeah, perfect time for me to crash the set here. 43.20. I'm taking some pointers from Ron after a failed attempt at cashing on the Rainbow Six yesterday. So I go 3 deep in the opener. The number 1 Sea Trident, the 3 Ain't Wasting Time, the 5 Hard Bell. You can kind of see from here, I go 2 deep in each of the races. From there, there's a maiden special weight, race 7, 4 and 8, race 8. I think the number 6, Mamba on 3, looks tough, but Beyond by the Sea has just been really strong on the Tapeta, so I use that one as well. Race 9, just too deep in race 10. My long shot's the number 3, Valiant Avenger, but I also use the KC Chief, might be part of that pace scenario, as well as the 7, Invincible War. Then hopefully I'm still alive in the last race. I have some coverage with the 2, 3, and 8. 3's a bit of a price, 15-1 on the morning line, 1 at 70-1 last time out, and I think a lot has to do with the lack of Lasix on that one, so something to note there. But 43.20, I'm just following Ronnie's footsteps.
That's the playbook. I like it. $150,000 getting up there already, and we mentioned it time and time again. You know, early on, before we get really high up there in the $400,000 and $500,000, it's a great time to take a shot because, you know, you get a couple prices in there. You got a chance to make a dent. You got a chance to have a lifetime score. Get involved right around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll get to this race now. Mile on a fast main track, a starter optional claimer. The tag is 8. These are 3-year-olds and up. We go the 1-turn mile. It's kind of significant, too, because a couple of these have coming out of those 2-turn short finish line races. I didn't pick any of these horses, but we got to show the replay because 4 of them come out of the same race. You didn't pick any of them either, actually, now that I look at it. But here's the race, because I do think it's, you know, the kind of the race you got to suss out a little bit. Thanks, Bob. They're all in here, right? Ain't Wasting Time is going to win it, and he's going to do it the hard way, too, because you can see it here. He's pressing the pace of Black Belt in here, and we got High Yield Kitten. Hard Bell ran second. High Yield Kitten ran third, and then our old buddy Mr. Tito's was a little, he couldn't get up there. He ran fourth. But this is the race, and you just kind of have to ask yourself, well, who ran the best race? And you know, Ain't Wasting Time. He won this race on the square, Ashley, because he was doing the dirty work.
He was doing the dirty work, and, you know, he tried to do the same thing 2 starts back, and he ended up finishing third, beaten by a neck, but he got the job done pretty nicely here at a price. I'm not sure it'll be the same price today, but it's great to show this race because these are the types of horses we see them about every 4 weeks. They kind of square off against each other. There are some newcomers in the field today, but when you look at that race, you have to think Ain't Wasting Time had the best performance.
So you go down inside to see Trident. I've got him in 4th. He's on my radar. I just didn't know. And I respect the heck out of Claudio Gonzalez. He's done so good. That's a huge figure he ran last time. I was just a little worried. Can we get back to it?
Yeah, this is something we've seen here. We see horses pop a really big figure. Next time out, they come a little bit flat, and I'll talk about another horse later. Same scenario. But for me, the big question is the step up in class, but it is Claudio Gonzalez. He's such a great trainer when it comes to claiming horses and spotting them next time out. And even that race 3 back, I know it's an $8,000 claimer, but it's a pretty strong figure to see an 83 Beyer speed figure. He's kind of has this, if you look down the page, a good race, bad race trend, which would suggest maybe today on the class step up, not his day to shine. But with Claudio, I had a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, I've got it noted. I've got the plus minus going, and you hinted at it could be a minus today. We'll see what we get. I like the fact that he claims this horse for 12.5, and you know what? He doesn't want to risk him today. He wants to keep him. That's a very positive sign. I went next door to Boldness, who, you know, versatile, but I think there's no doubt to me he's a better horse on the main track. The mile could be a little tricky. I understand that. He does have a win at the mile. I liked his race last time.
And the big thing is the top 2 in there, Uncork the Bottle and Star Wancho. I believe Star Wancho had a bit of a win streak going, and these are hard-knocking horses, and he finished 3rd at a huge price. He made a really nice late run. I agree. He took no respect in those Tapeta races. He didn't really show up in them. So when you go back to his most recent win, that was on the main track as well. And the distance, he is 4 for 5 in the money.
Yeah, good point. And, you know, Ain't Wasting Time. We saw the replay. You're darned if you leave him out because he ran huge last time.
Huge, and a nice claim for Diane Marici. Has this one only for 4 starts now. I know they took this one to Tampa. He's had some time off in between those races, and then those 2 back-to-back, really big efforts. It seems second off the layoff. He just had a little bit more grit in the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. Late pick 5 time in race 7. We'll take a look at my ticket, $27. The old pyramid, I guess, because this is not for the faint of heart. Back-to-back singles to kick it off, and then we go 3 deep in race 9, and Poema's going to be a strong favorite. That kicks off the contest, by the way, and I did pick her. I don't think you have to take a short number on her, but I did pick her. And then here's the spreads in race 7, and that's my long shot, Night Jumper. Had the wrong Kent Sweezy yesterday as a long shot. Kent blows it up at 30-1. You got half of it with the dead heat. And then in the finale, in race number 11, right in a row, 8, 10, 9 will be my order. Amazing Trip. There's 2 heavy favorites, Amazing Trip and Adios Babe. I did use Aritz Chalice in there as well $27. I wasn't too expansive in either ticket today. The maiden special weight, this is tricky because we're going to stretch these 2-year-olds out to a mile, Ashley. I went, well, we both went with number 8, Peregrino G. We'll show the replay, and then I'll throw it to you because I thought this horse ran really, really good last time. You're not going to, well, here he is here. You're not going to see the real dent that he makes until late, but I thought this was a very, very strong effort. The winner is the 8, Congruent, getting the right kind of first-run trip. But Peregrino G for Fausto Gutierrez, he doesn't have him cranked. That means today, look out.
He doesn't, and I will say I think recently he has him kind of cranked. A couple of his horses have won, but then going off of that, horse runs well on debut, not well enough to win, but learned a lot out of this race. You saw Congruent was closer to the pace in there and kind of had a little bit of an edge with the sort of the fractions in there. They were mild fractions, but I think you see this horse, he's still trying to kind of grind away at them, and he'll end up getting up for second in here. The horse to his outside today, Life is Live, finished behind him. So horses were kind of, you know, some of them were making up ground, but Life is Live, you can see here, was just tracking in second, and this horse flies up on the inside.
He really seems, I don't know, I want to call it a light bulb moment. Sometimes these first-time starters, you know, they run around a little bit, and then they realize, oh, yeah, I'm a racehorse, and he really kicked it in there. Now, you could argue maybe some of them were tiring, maybe it flattered him, maybe it was a little bit of an optical illusion. I like the way he strode out late in that race. Number 9 for me underneath. You mentioned Live is Life, and tricky there. You know what? I kind of felt like he was supposed to run better last time. He was 9-2 on debut behind Cajun Hope, who we know is pretty good. And you said to yourself, you know what? Okay, that's a nice foundation to build on. Thought he was a little flat last time. He was 6-5 in that race.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I can't say his name. We know that. But this horse, I think, is stagnant. Those are almost replicated performances. A 56, a 55.
I agree.
Stretched him out a furlong. He got beat by the same margin of victory. I just didn't see the step up from him that I would have hoped because we know Jorge Delgado made in second time out.
Yeah.
They're supposed to improve. So that's why, we use this horse underneath. I just, based on those performances so far, I think Peregrino G just looked better.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I know the pedigree, West Coast out of a Bellamy Road mare. The mile is certainly in there, if not farther. These are Travers horses, West Coast and Bellamy Road. But I didn't know necessarily, at least on paper, if that's really what he wants to do. We'll see when he stretches out a little bit today. So I'm glad you got the 4 in second. I have him in third because we've got to mention him. He scratched out for, was it 25 or 35 yesterday, to run in this spot and made special weight.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was one of those, and I don't think they're far off of one another. But I think that's huge because now this is a dirt race. I believe that was for the Tapeta. He's jumping up, trying the dirt for the first time on the stretch out, but a really strong debut. This is the sort of debut I'd want to see. We showed a stat yesterday for second time maidens out for David Fox, which would apply here. He won the opener yesterday at 11-1 with that horse. So these horses are really cranked at their best for second time out, and he had a great foundation.
Yeah, nobody was paying attention, us included, right? The horse, we were like, that horse can't be 11-1. Dave Fox are the second-time starters. I said it earlier on a radio show. I think it's probably got to be up to about 32% now because he was 28% from a 29-horse sample, and he pops yesterday. Don't sleep on this horse if you want to think outside the box a little bit. I know he was in for 35 last time. Just the fact that he didn't run yesterday, Dave sizes it up and says, you know what, I think we can play with this group. You've got to pay attention here as well. So late pick 4-time in race 8. We'll get back to the Tapeta. State bred optional claimer here. These are 3-year-olds and up. We go 5.5. It's a snappy trip. I don't know how much you like Mamba on 3. You've got him on top. He was a single to me. He's just better than these, I thought.
Yeah, I said it kind of when I went through my rainbow ticket. He is the horse to beat. I think the only sneaky horse that can maybe get the jump, the jump over him in here is the number 4. But Mamba on 3, look at that race last time out after a long layoff, was ready to go, just missed by a neck. And you can see the replay here. We're going to show that real quick. Didn't actually take much respect compared to what we saw. Maybe because of that layoff was 5-1. And I just thought this horse was just gritty throughout and just got denied in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Novogratz the Great is the winner of this race. And look at him tripping out. And here's Mamba on 3. He's got to make first run. He's got to put away the 1 Tis Romantic, who finishes third, excuse me. I thought it was a really, really strong effort, and it also was an effort that was his first start since December 9th. So to me, he's going to move it forward today. He's drawn perfectly. I guess maybe Hope and him's got some speed too. Other than that, I didn't really see him have to work as hard early, Ashley, as he did in this spot.
No, he had to work really hard, and I thought it was, like I said, for a long layoff, which we've really highlighted on. That's the sort of performance you want to see first off.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. So we both have B by the C in second, and he makes a lot of sense, but twofold. He needs pace help. He's also 3 for 34, and I just think that's a big elephant in the room.
Well, it's also the 13 second
Yeah,
place
13
finishes,
seconds,
right? And
yeah.
you look at the Topita record, 8 starts, half of them have been second place finishes. So he doesn't get the job done. But well, depending on the pace scenario, kind of unfolds in front of him. He's a player, but he's the only one I think could actually get the job done, and that's not saying much based on the record.
That's a one-punch exacta for me. Sonny Leone is not riding because he's riding Rich Strike up at Saratoga in the Travers. We wish him, wish him the best of luck. Miguel Vasquez takes over, not a bad replacement at all. From there, I think it gets a little tricky. Loyal Louis for you underneath. Diane Marisi on the class drop. I think it's a class drop because he was in against Open last time.
Yeah, it's a class drop. Another one needs the pace to unfold in front of him. And when you see a horse like Mamba on 3, pretty strong on the front end, which we don't see that all the time, that makes it harder for Loyal Louis unless there's a challenger.
Our old buddy Richie's in here as well. I'm just not sure which way his form's going. Hence, I've got him underneath. Late pick 3 is in race 9. Kicks off the contest too. Again, XP Rewards members, all you gotta do is sign up. If you're not, for free, get over to Silks by 4:40, get in that contest. The other thing too is the top 50 finishers, all told throughout this contest, they play for $5,000 of free money next Saturday on Sire Stakes Day. So, get involved. There's no excuse not to. Here we go with State Breds optional claimers here. Fillies and mares 3 and up. We'll go to 7 on the main track here. Talk about our fantasy, man. Oh man, I want to pick her. I just can't pick her anymore because I needed her for a big score last time. She just never breaks anymore.
She doesn't break out of the gate at all, and last time we saw that, she gets denied by a nose, and she should have won that race.
She was best
really should have won that race. So that's a bit concerning, but I do have a stat here from the trainer, Armando de la Cerda. Just looking at first off the claim the past 2 years, 25% from a sample size of 12. We talk about it. Some of these traders don't claim a bunch. He really doesn't, but he's strong with his claims, 42% in the money with that $2.15 ROI. I try to use our fantasy and I hope she can get the job done today just because Poema, I thought, I was surprised the horse went off favored last time out, but she really fell flat late.
To her credit, at least, I don't know if it's credit or not, but it wasn't her fault last time. She was just in a tight spot at the start, and I remember noting it because she was my best bet of the day last time. Cesar Figueroa, now obviously she's off the claim, he doesn't have her anymore, but he put a gate drill into her, so maybe, just maybe, if she doesn't get sandwiched at the start, maybe she'll break with this field, and then all bets are off. Big chance. The problem is if Poema runs to the race 2 back, they'll never see her. She'll lap the field. We'll take a look at it here. Ashley, I have no idea where it came from, but she ran into stakes last time, and she still flashed her speed. I guess since they put her on the lead, that's her thing, that's her jam. She was devastating in this race.
Well, it was weird, too. And not only was she put on the lead, but she was stretching out from some sprints. They tried her on the turf. The Topita really wasn't clicking for her. She was kind of picking up minor shares, but in that mile race, man, she caught a flyer, and she just kept on going. I remember watching this race on the rail thinking, oh, my gosh, she's just going to keep on pouring it on, and she did. Huge price that day. Then comes back, favored in the Azalea, and I thought that was I don't know, I was so surprised by that, just knowing last week was in there and we saw what her resume looked like, and she's added to it since then. But you're right, if Poema can do this, especially with our fantasies trouble out of the gate sometimes, I mean, she could be gone.
That's a 22-2 second quarter she threw out there, and no disrespect to anybody in this field. There's no last leafs or even Mary Quite Contrary who came back to win too. So we'll see what we get today. Last leaf goes up to Ellis Parks and wins a stakes for Ronnie Spatz. So that race is playing out, and Poema looks like to me another potential next out winner in there. You go number 5. Chasing Happiness is interesting. She's got 3 starts off a really long layoff. She seems to be inching forward.
She does seem to be inching forward. I think now 3 starts off the layoff should be the key here, but she's another one. She's kind of been breaking sharply out of the gate and tiring a bit, so maybe just having some races under her belt has helped, and Edgar Zayas has been aboard those 2 starts.
Well, quickly to race 10. It's another starter optional claimer here, a mile of 16th. On the Topita. It was my long shot with Night Jumper for Kent Sweezy. I just thought it was interesting that Edgar Zayas gets aboard back in with Kent. This horse is working bullets up at Palmettos. We'll see what we get today. It's a spread race for me. You land on the 3, Valiant Avenger, who's going to be a price too.
Yeah, our opposing long shots, both 8-1 on the morning line. I thought this horse ran really well last time out. Was at the back of the pack early on and had a lot of work to do because the pace was pretty moderate, but finished 3rd to round out the trifecta. I just thought that was a big improvement from that race on the turf 2 back.
Obviously, KC Chief and the 7 Invisible War are going to take beating in here, but I don't think their margin for error is a big one. Race 11, it's another tough puzzle to me. It's fillies and mares 3 and up here, or 2 L's that they're in for 12.5, 6 on the main. You go down inside, maybe Lucky and Wild.
Yeah, I think this horse, what we saw last time out, at 6.5 furlongs, 6 furlongs might be the kind of the right distance for this one. Just got tired late and got caught by another runner in here. Seems to be the speed and draws towards the inside.
I will say this about him. I'll say two things about Amazing Trip. I have no idea what you're going to get from her today because she's plunging in class. I do like the fact that she has kept her speed. I think that's a big deal, and she's drawn well too. You're going to have to take a short price. We'll see what we get today. So we got 11 here. We'll get to the lightning round really quickly. We've already talked about the contest. We'll hit on it one more time. You've got until 4:40 today. XP rewards. Just get over to Silks if you're here. There's no excuse not to. You should be a member anyway, but you can get over there by 4:40. The last 3 races at Saratoga. Last 3 races here because we'll start it. Last 3 races at Saratoga. Kicks off with the Travers at Saratoga as well. Best bet for you today?
Comes in race 4, Prudencio. I think 5-2 on the morning line.
Yeah,
That's where I'm going.
Same here as well. And long shot for you today.
Long shots, Valiant Avenger. We're opposing here in race 10. I got the 3 for Ralph Nix.
And I got Night Jumper in there. You're kind of picking up what we're both putting down. It's a tough race. It's a spread race. Now, we hit on this earlier. Let's show the replay yesterday of, you want to talk about hopeful, because Looking for Hope ran off yesterday for Safi, and this horse for Joe Cantonice ran collectively. This is a really, really nice prospect.
Really nice prospect, and I thought it was a good ride from Sonny Leon. He's been kind of flying under the radar here, but he's picking up wins, and wow, this horse continued to draw away from the field in the end, so we'll see what's in the future for that one.
Well, we don't need to tell you, it's already Travers Day, and you've probably been here in Silks since we opened up early at 10:30. Bet early, bet often. Obviously, we're going to run 11 today. We've got the Travers as well. Your pick?
Epicenter. I know it's chalky, but that's who I like.
Yeah, I don't want to pick him. I picked early voting. I think he's loose. It's a real admitted stab. He was not good last time, but he's going to be a good price. We didn't leave Pete a lot of time, buddy. We're sorry about that. He doesn't have a lot to do today, though. Not a lot of scratches. We'll be back with you for the opener shortly.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.